TTHD நேயர்களுக்கு அன்பான வணக்கங்கள். மீண்டும் ஒரு சிறப்பு நேர்காணலில் உங்கள் எல்லாரும் சந்திக்கிறதுல மிகவும் மகிழ்ச்சி. இன்றைக்கு ஒரு டிஃப்ரெண்டான ஒரு கலைஞரை சந்திக்க போகிறோம். புகைப்பட கலைஞர் ஒரு ஆளை இன்றைக்கு சந்திக்க இருக்கின்றோம். அவர் ஒரு வருஷம் ஒரு நிகழ்ச்சியை செய்து கொண்டு வருகின்றார். ஸோ அவர் யாருன்னு நாங்கள் இப்பொழுது பார்க்கலாம். வேறு யாரும் இல்லை, எங்களுடைய ஜனனி பாஸ்கரன் அவர்கள். வணக்கம்.
வணக்கம்.
எப்படி இருக்கிறீங்க?
நல்லா இருக்கிறேன். நீங்கள்?
நானும் நல்லா இருக்கிறேன். இந்த இன்டர்வியூ ஆரம்பிக்க முதல் உங்கள்கிட்ட ஒரு விஷயம் சொல்லணும். எனக்கு கன பேர் சொல்லிச்சினம், ஜனனி இன்டர்வியூ பண்ணுறீங்களா? அதுதான் ஓமண்டு. அப்போ சொன்னாங்க, ஓகே நிறைய பேச மாட்டா, ஸோ குட் லக். ஸோ ஐ ஹோப் ஐ கேன் மேக் யூ talk and yeah, hopefully I get you comfortable to do that.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we are prior to this interview, we have spoken about a lot of things, and I guess that will come up today.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so I guess you will definitely talk a lot today. Yeah, so you guys will be surprised what powers I have. All right, so obviously before we get to the actual topic that we're going to talk about, let's talk about your profession. அதாவது இந்த புகைப்பட கலைன்றது இப்போ பார்த்தா நிறைய பேர் அந்த கலையில் ஈடுபட்டு கொண்டு இருக்கணும். பட் சொல்கிறேன்னு குறைக்காதுங்க. ஐ மீன் இது எல்லா இதுலேயும் இது ஒரு பிரச்சனைன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது, பட் ஒரு ட்ரெண்டாக இருக்குது. இப்போ பாடகர்ண்டா உடனே ஒரு மைக்கு தூக்கினா பாடகர், ஒரு கேமரா வாங்கினா டக்குன்னு வீடியோகிராஃபர் ஃபோட்டோகிராஃபர்ஸ், அப்படி அந்த விஷயங்கள் இருக்குது. அப்போ ஆனால் இதை ப்ரொஃபஷ்னலாக செய்யும்போது கடினமாக இருக்கும் இதில் சர்வைவ் பண்ணுறது, இல்லையா? ஸோ there's a lot of professionals in our community as well. So when did you start to build the love for photography? அதை பற்றி கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்களேன்.
Yeah, I actually started around maybe 5-6 years ago. It started off as a hobby, and this was around the time that I like to call my post-grad depression, where I graduated from school and I was trying to figure out what I need to do, and I was trying to find a job, and I just used to take a camera everywhere I went, and like even if it's with friends or my trips that I went, and then I started building like this interest of capturing moments, and I think it was my friends as well who mentioned that the way I look at things was very different from what they would usually picture. So they encouraged me, and I started to think, okay, why not take this as a profession to do while I was searching for jobs? And I guess through my first job I met a lot of people who were able to give me gigs as well, a lot of free gigs, and through that I built up a portfolio, and then I started doing it professionally.
All right, so you're not really into this wedding scene and stuff like that?
No, I'm trying to stick away from being an event photographer just because I feel like I want to stay out of there's a lot of event photographers anyway, and they're doing an amazing job in the wedding industry. I just felt like it wasn't my thing, and I don't enjoy doing events as much as the creative things that not that event photography and wedding photography is not creative, but I just like the more artistic point of view of putting together a set and thinking of costume ideas. So I enjoy doing that kind.
Okay. So another question a lot of people usually have, அதாவது இந்த மீடியா ஃபீல்டாக இருந்தாலும் சரி, என்டர்டெயின்மெண்ட் ஃபீல்டாக இருந்தாலும் சரி, முதலாவது கேள்வி இதில் நாங்கள் ஃபுல் டைமாக செய்து நாங்கள் உயிர் வாழ முடியுமா என்ற ஒரு கேள்வி நிறைய பேருக்கு இருக்குது. ஸோ இதான் உங்களுடைய full time occupation?
I'm actually a healthcare professional. Okay. I work at Toronto General Hospital full time, so I'm making use of my degree and like all the money that I spent for OSAP. So that's my full time job. This is something I do on the side.
Okay. Is this something you would like to do full time though, down the road eventually?
Probably not, just because I feel like when it comes to creative photography, it's very rare for us to get gigs all the time every weekend, and usually people are looking for collaborations more than professional paid gigs. So it's not something I can rely on for an income. And even if I sign up with an agency, it goes into different path from what I'm kind of focusing on. So for now it's my part-time.
You have to stick to the part-time side of it. All right. சரி, நான் நினைக்கிறேன் இப்போ நாங்கள் நேரடியாக உங்களுடைய பாம் ரூட்ஸ் நிகழ்ச்சியை பற்றி நாங்கள் கதைக்கலாம்னு நினைக்கிறேன். இப்போ இந்த வருடம் கூட நீங்கள் அது நடைபெற இருக்குது 4வது முறையாக, இல்லையா? ஸோ இந்த இவெண்ட்டை கிரியேட் பண்ணணும்ன்ற ஐடியா உங்களுக்கு எப்படி வந்துச்சு 5 வருடங்களுக்கு முன்னாடி?
Yes, so it started in 2013. That's actually, there's a couple of reasons why I started Palm Roots. First of all, being a Tamil girl living in Toronto, I realized that we have so many things we're blessed with, so many privileges that people back home don't have. Even things like food, education are things that they're still struggling for, even though the war is over. So when I went for the first time to Jaffna in 2013 is when I saw it myself. and I realized that I had to do something. And like the way our lifestyle is here, we're always complaining about what we want next and what more we can do, whereas the people there are just like, just let us live in peace in a small house and we're fine. So I think after seeing that, I realized how much more we have to be doing to the community back home. So that was number one. Second thing, also because I wasn't doing event photography and wedding photography, I realized that there should be something I do where I create a brand for myself. And by doing something like this, I know I would gain the respect of the people in our community, especially because that's one thing I saw was the drawback, that people weren't looking at photographers with respect. It was just like, oh, they just come to an event and summa padam edutittu you know. So I was like, that needs to change. So that's something I wanted to work on. And yeah, I think it's mainly to do with how am I contributing back home to our community back home and helping them build a better future for themselves. Yeah.
So this event is actually not like an ordinary event, it's actually an auction.
Yeah.
So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so every year I choose a different country. This year I've done Sri Lanka again with a focus on North with Jaffna. And I'll have a couple of pictures that people can look around. So first it starts off like a gallery, and then they all have starting bids and people bid on it and fight for their final price, and then whoever gets it, all the proceeds from it goes to the charity.
சரி, இப்போ நிறைய நேர்கள் கண்டிப்பாக இருப்பினும் இதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் உங்களையும் காணக்கூடியதாக இருக்கும் அவர்களுக்கு. நீங்கள் இப்படி ஒரு ஈவெண்ட்டையும் வந்து செய்கிற நீங்கள் இன்றைக்கு தான் நிறைய பேருக்கு தெரிய வரக்கூடிய வாய்ப்பும் இருக்குது கண்டிப்பாக. ஸோ நீங்கள் ஒவ்வொரு வருஷம் வந்து வேறு தீமில், அதாவது வேறு ஒரு நாடை தேர்ந்தெடுத்து தான் நீங்கள் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை செய்து கொண்டு வரீங்க. ஸோ முதலாவது தடவையாக நீங்கள் எங்களுடைய தாய் மண்ணை தான் எடுத்தீங்க.
Actually, second time.
Yeah,
okay. First time
just mention which countries you chose.
Sure. So the first time I did Sri Lanka, but I focused more on like more of the entire country instead of a specific place. Then second year I did Middle East and Dubai, specifically Dubai. And then third year I did India, and then now I'm doing Jaffna again.
Okay. Yeah. சரி, இப்போ இன்னும் ஒரு கேள்வி. I don't know if it's hitting a soft spot or something like that. ஸோ நீங்கள் தொடர்ந்து ஒவ்வொரு வருஷம் செய்யணும்னு தான் முடிவெடுத்து செய்தீங்க. போன வருஷம் வந்து ஏன் செய்யாம விட்டீங்க? இதுக்கு என்ன காரணம்?
A couple of reasons. First of all, I wasn't able to get the support that I expected to get. And doing an event like this, especially when I'm doing it by myself, is not an easy task because this includes me working full time and leaving my job and going to all these meetings and meeting people and trying to convince them to help me out for my event. So there was a lot of drawbacks in getting sponsors. That was one of the main reasons I wasn't able to do it. And also it was the time frame as well, because my trip last year and the event date that I had in mind was too close to each other. And I thought I rather do an event, take my time and do an event than rush it and just do an event for the sake of it, because I know how much expectations people have. So fingers crossed this year it goes well.
I guess now the expectation level will
Way
be higher
higher,
because you had a gap in between. இல்லையா? சரி, இப்போ நீங்கள் சொன்னீங்க போன வருஷம் வந்து தவிர்க்க முடியாத காரணங்களால் வந்து நீங்கள் செய்ய முடியாமல் போயிட்டுதுன்னு சொல்லி. But okay, I said தவிர்க்க முடியாத காரணங்கள். It's actually not entirely true, because it is possible to have done it, but unfortunately you were not able to do it because the reasons you already mentioned. So this is obviously the next question I'm going to ask you about. இப்போ நீங்கள் முதல் தடவையாக இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை செய்யும்போது கண்டிப்பாக வந்து நிறைய கஷ்டப்பட்டுருப்பீங்க. இப்போ நீங்கள் ஒரு நாலாவது தடவையாக செய்யல வந்து கொஞ்சம் இலகுவாக இருக்கும். It's obviously not easy, but it's a little easier because you have a portfolio already. You have already a history. I have done it quite a few times already. So then people know, okay, she has done it successfully before. So we can help out this time. பட் முதல் தடவையாக செய்யல, அதாவது என்னதான் இப்போ women empowerment ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு டாப்பிக்காக இருந்தாலும் it's still hard. Women have to definitely fight. Not only women, even us men, we have to fight to come out with our productions and stuff like that. That is always there. It's always hard to win home. And it's already so that's technically the issue here. So how hard was it in the beginning actually to be taken seriously, that you want to do an auction and that you have and has to do with photography and stuff as well?
So first of all, people were like, so you're a girl and you're doing this out there, so your name's going to be out there. That's not something that's good for your image. Are you sure you want to do it? Second of all, they were asking, do you really think you're that confident in your pictures and yourself to think that people will actually come out and buy your pictures? So there were a lot of controversial questions like that came up. And one thing that I kept in mind throughout is the point of this event is to help back home. It doesn't matter about people loving my pictures and keeping it on display, and nothing of that matters as long as the pictures get sold and that funding goes back home. That was
to
my
help
only
the people
concern.
there.
To help the people.
That's the
there.
main reason you're doing it.
So the first year when I did it, all the funding came out of my pocket. No one was happy about it, including myself, because of course, I'm working full time, but I do have a lot of expenses that went into the event.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, because the event went well and my family and friends came out to support me, it was a very small circle of friends that came out. The event went well, and I raised around $2,600, which was a huge amount at that time.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, at the end of the day, I was happy because it reached this place called Durgapuram Mahalirillam, which was this home in Tellipala, which is just for girls, and they take care of girls for anything from education, housing, making sure they're not getting in trouble, and they are safe in a safe environment. So when the funding went back there, and I got a letter from them saying, "Thank you so much for your support. A girl is being able to do something like this and send home to support girls here." Everything just kind of made it worth it. So
Awesome.
yeah.
சரி இப்போ நீங்கள் அடுத்தடுத்த ஈவெண்ட் செய்யக்கல I assume it obviously increased whatever you were able to raise. So அதை பற்றி கொஞ்சம் சொல்லுங்கள்.
Yeah, so first 2 years sayekla I made $2,600 and then again in 2015 when I did the event, it was a little grander scale, and I had the support of our community, and I was actually able to raise $12,500.
Wow, what a jump!
Which really jumped up, and thanks to the sponsors, it was Ideal that actually sponsored the entire event, and they were a huge support for me, including not just providing the money and saying, okay, do whatever you want. The entire team was there to support me, and TT is actually another huge support for me ever since, even from 2015 until today. Anytime I need something, if I contact someone at TT, they say, okay, anything you want, let's do it. So if it wasn't for the support of them, I really couldn't have done it.
That's why you're sitting here now as well. And one of your pictures is in front
I
of
just saw
Prem's
it, and
office.
it's so exciting.
Yeah. So இன்னும் நிறைய கேள்வி இருக்குது உங்கள்கிட்ட. So I mean, finally I found a person who's open to talk about these things too.
Okay, let's see how much trouble I get.
Yeah, exactly. So prepare yourself well in the little break. Let's go for a break. சரி நேயர்களே, சின்ன இடைவெளியின் பின் மீண்டும் சந்திக்கலாம். Welcome back. சரி ஜனனி, இப்போ நாங்கள் ஒரு பிரச்சனையான விஷயங்களை பற்றியும் காய்ச்சி கொண்டு இருந்தாங்க, நல்ல விஷயங்களையும் பற்றி காய்ச்சி கொண்டு இருந்தாங்க. I mean, obviously you have a recognized event now. அதாவது முதல் தடவையாக வந்து ஒரு சின்ன ஸ்கேலில் நடந்துச்சு, and then all of a sudden it jumped up, even to the amount you raised went up from like 4 digits to 5 digits. That's already a huge jump, and I guess you can actually expect the best. Right?
Keeping
for
my
this
fingers
year's
crossed,
event. So அதை பற்றி கொஞ்சம் கதை இப்போ நடக்க இருக்கிற ஈவெண்ட்டை பற்றி கதைப்போம். I mean, after 2 years you're doing this event, as we already mentioned, expectations will be higher, and I mean a lot of people will be looking forward to the pictures as well, since எங்களுடைய தாய்மண்ணில் நீங்கள் அதில் இப்போ ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணி படங்கள் எடுத்துருக்கிறீங்க. ஸோ அது வந்து எந்த லெவலில் இருக்க போகுது, எந்த அளவுக்கு நினைவுகளை வந்து எங்களுடைய மக்களுக்கு கொண்டு வர போகுது, அதை எல்லாத்தையும் நினச்சி தான் நிறைய பேர் ஆவலாக இருக்கணும் இந்த ஈவெண்ட்டுக்கு வரணும்னு. ஸோ now you can actually tell us when this event is going to happen and where.
So the event is actually happening on May 7th at Scarborough Convention Center. And like you said, the expectations are really high. So I'm trying my best to make sure everything happens well. But I have a lot of interesting segments that are happening. So first of all, I'm going to have amazing MCs who are very well known. It's going to be Tushant, who was there for my previous years, and Banujan, the very popular Banujan. And alongside myself as well. So us three, we're going to be on stage, hopefully entertain people. And I'm also going to have live musicians because I'm all about supporting independent artists.
So that's good to hear.
I'm going to have 4 musicians. So I'm going to have Gobiraj playing the piano, and I'm going to have Brenavi Arul, who's very amazing at playing the flute, and then the very famous Veena Thambab sisters. They're all going to be playing songs, especially A.R. Rahman songs, because I've requested it.
All right.
So they're going to have that for an hour of live instrumental music, and then I'll go on to the segment of the auction.
All right, that's awesome. I mean, these guys already performed on your last event as well, right? So that's great to see them back, I guess.
Exactly, and I was very happy that they actually told me that even recently someone mentioned that, oh, I remember your performance from Palm Roots and it was amazing, and like they got a lot of recognition out of it too. So I just feel satisfied that I've done my job for them too.
All right, that's good. So let's get back to the actual photography part of it.
Yes.
No, I mean, as you said, it's hard. People didn't take it seriously in the beginning. Okay, நீங்க அப்படி என்ன பிக்சர்ஸ் எடுத்துருப்பீங்க, அவருக்கு உங்களுக்கு கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்கு, அப்படியெல்லாம் கேள்விகள் வந்ததுன்னு நீங்கள் சொன்னீங்க. ஐ மீன் அதுக்கு வந்து டெக்னாலஜியும் ஒரு காரணம் தான். இப்போ எல்லாரும் ஒரு ஐஃபோனை வச்சோ ஒரு சாம்சங்கை வச்சோ நாங்கள் வந்து எல்லாரும் இப்போ ஃபோட்டோகிராஃபர்ஸ் ஆகிட்டோம், இல்லாட்டிக்கு லைவ் ப்ராட்காஸ்டர்ஸ் ஆகிட்டோம். இப்போ ஒரு ஷோக்கு போயிட்டு உடனே ஃபேஸ்புக் லைவ்ல போய் அந்த ஷோக்கு போகாட்டிக்கும் நாங்கள் இப்போ லைஃபாக ஃபேஸ்புக்கில் பார்க்கலாம். I totally get it. I totally get that. I mean, இப்போ நிறைய ஆப்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்குது. I mean, I recently I'm a music guy. I'm not into these editing stuff and whatever. But I remember back in the days when we have a picture of ourselves and we want to cut ourselves out. There was so much effort to do that. And now you have an app for it. You just like kind of do the edges and then it will do it on its own. And it's like a matter of 2 minutes. And before I remember it takes you hours and hours because you have to go like line by line. And that was horrible. And now it's so easy. And then with all these filters and all that stuff makes life so much easier for the general public to do like whatever you guys struggle to do, right? And do you think that's a drawback for like professionals?
Yes and no, just because I feel like if you're actually a professional and you've been in the industry for so long, the reason you're doing well is because of the way you look at certain things. It's not to do with technology. You could have like probably like a simple camera, but it's all about how you look at the picture and how you look at certain things that really matters. So even with me, when I first started off, I had like this very tiny Sony CyberShot camera, which was like nothing. But I remember taking one picture when I went to Sri Lanka and actually won an award. And now I could have all the equipment I want, but if I'm not able to enjoy what I'm shooting, then the picture loses its value. So technology plays I guess it's a good, but like you said, like when you go to events and stuff, like everyone has an iPad in front of you, and like the professionals are standing there waiting for them to move out of the way so they could shoot. So in terms of that, yes, technology can be a drawback, but in general, I just feel like it's all about the vision you have.
Now that you mentioned iPads, that was, oh my God, that's like really
at weddings,
If it's at least the phone, okay.
I know,
you kind of can look over it, but the iPad, oh my God,
I know.
that's really
I've experienced it a lot.
Especially when you're at concerts and
exactly,
stuff. You see like 10,000 people like standing there like
they're
this.
not even, it doesn't feel
and they
like
don't
they're
even
enjoying the moment.
They look through the phone. Like, why did you pay money to come here?
Exactly.
Then, right? So that's my question. I always ask myself, like, what are these guys doing?
I know. So it's like, why pay the ticket and go to the event when you can watch it all over social media? So.
All right, so let's get back to the support part. Okay. So I mean, this is the part we both were looking forward to. Not that we want to bash people, but this is something எங்களுடைய மக்களுக்கு விளங்க வேண்டிய ஒரு விஷயம். இது நான் வந்து எந்த கலைஞரோட நான் இதை பற்றி கதைச்சாலும் எல்லாரும் கவலைப்பட்டு சொல்ற ஒரு விஷயமா தான் இது அமைஞ்சிருக்குது. Like I already said, it's always hard to win home. And எங்களுடைய கம்யூனிட்டியில் பார்த்தா like you said, I guess இப்போ உங்களுடைய படங்களை வச்சு நீங்கள் இப்போ இந்தியாவில் போய் ஒரு 2-3 அவார்ட்ஸ் வின் பண்ணிட்டு வந்தீங்கன்னா your credibility will be even higher, right? But that is the sad part, and you're probably doing the same job that you have been doing for the past 4 or 5 years, but that one picture that gets recognized in India, that will blow you up here. And what do you think about that situation? I mean, we have a lot of singers, it happened to them as well. It's not like they were like bad singers before, but as soon as they sing playback, all of a sudden like their popularity skyrockets. And what do you think about that, and what is your opinion about that?
I think the main reason for that is because when you're like, let's say a singer, forget about photographers, when you're a singer and you're performing at so many events, it's always the same crowd that comes and sees you perform and they're like, okay, she's just a singer from here. The minute you go there, they know that they've always, I think people here, I won't say everyone, but a majority of the community keeps celebrities at a higher level. So when you get recognized by a celebrity from India especially, it just becomes like, oh, okay, so if they think she's good, she's probably really good. If they think he really deserves to be in movies, then maybe he's really good. It changes the perspective. So even with my situation, I met the photographer Venkatram a few years ago. And he's a well-known photographer in India. And he was actually here for an event, and I met him. Something changed after I met him. I don't know what it is. My pictures are still the same. But the way people looked at me like, oh, so you met Venkatram. So did he give you some insight on like how to take pictures? Are you using his techniques now? And then people started to recognize my work more. But my work always stayed the same.
Yeah, but they think that meeting changed your work.
Changed everything, but it's not the same. So even when it comes to singers, like I have so many friends who I know that need the recognition, but they're not getting it because every single event they're performing at, it's the same crowd that comes and they're used to seeing him. And the other problem is that there's so many events that are happening that people don't know which, like every event that they go to, if they keep seeing the same type of songs, they just kind of get used to it instead of seeing them after a very long time and realizing how talented they really are. So I think it has to do with the perspective of people in our community too. And it's also to do with when you have a lot of something, you don't know the value of it. And the minute they're gone and they come back, it's like they blow up. So
well, like you kind of indirectly said it, less is sometimes better.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're there, literally, if you take every opportunity and you're on stage every week, obviously, நாங்களே எங்களுடைய
இதை வந்து love பண்றோம் இல்லையா?
Like, you become just that other guy.
Exactly. Your value decreases.
And அப்படி வந்து, right? So that's how it is. I mean, that's the same thing all these playback singers say. Like when they run around in Chennai, for example, it's not like people run them over and be like, oh, I want to take a picture with you or whatever. They don't really care. Because they live there, they're from there, they can see them always, so they don't really care. It's the same thing here. But like you said, less is sometimes better, and you should probably bring that message across to some of your friends. Okay. So another important question, I mean, this is something you can definitely answer as well. What do you think is lacking in us as artists? I mean, it doesn't matter in which art form, that it's hard for us to get people's recognition, or better to say their support. Like why is it that we are struggling to get to the next level? Like what is needed? What can we change?
Kind of coming back to what you said, the support thing, before you kind of reach out to the general public to support each other, we have to support each other. And that's not there in our community at all. I wouldn't say at all. There is a little bit of it, but it's very, very rare. And that's one thing I've noticed, and it makes me really sad because I feel like if you want to build up a community, it starts from the roots. And if there's no support in the roots, if we're not supporting each other, I feel like there's so many times where I've noticed that people spend their time thinking about what another person is doing and kind of bashing them of like the ways they're trying to find success instead of focusing on the ways you could succeed. And like it's so sad because, and that's one thing I try to stay away from, because if I know I can help someone, I do my 100% to make sure I help them. But I would never sit back and look at someone else and say, oh, I can't believe they're doing that, or put someone down. It's unnecessary. And that's one thing in our community we have a lot of, where even if I don't succeed, I'll make sure the other person doesn't succeed.
Have you faced something like that in your profession?
Not from photographers. Thankfully, photographers, just because I feel like I'm outside of that stereotypical photographer, I have the support of other photographers, and they're always looking forward to my events and pictures. But I think when it comes to just general public is when I see that, especially being a girl. You see like the older community looking at me like, is this all you're going to do for the rest of your life? Like all you want to do is fundraise and do charity? And another thing I've noticed is when it's a girl, their personal life is so much more important than their professional life. Whereas when it's a guy, it's all about their professional life. So even when it comes to that, regardless of supporting me for what I do, there's always going to be people who are criticizing me for what I'm not doing. So if we come together as a community and support each other, so I'm happy I have the base of like having photographers supporting each other, but now it needs to go to the next level of getting the community to support me. And thankfully I've had that so far, but I do see that a lot, especially in the whole group of musicians, that I feel like since everyone is competing for the same thing and same goal, it's always about bashing each other down and who's doing better than who, instead of how about we work together and do something. So I think within our community, especially our generation, that's something that really needs to improve. Just work together. We're all fighting for the same things. We all want to achieve our dreams, so why not work together?
Yeah, that's exactly the problem, like you said. I mean, if there's one big opportunity, you don't want to obviously help and push the other person.
Exactly. No.
I mean, that's not my opinion. That's how people work.
I know. I completely understand.
So a lot of people ask me the same question. Oh, you're pushing all these artists and they get to greater heights, but don't you feel like you are stuck?
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of old now. I'm using my resources and try to push the other guys and make sure they get something that we didn't have.
Yeah.
Right? So we had to at that time 10 years back, we had to literally fight for every little bit that we achieved.
Yeah.
So எங்களை வந்து புஷ் பண்றதுக்கு ஒருத்தரும் இருக்கல. ஸோ நாங்களே தான் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸை தேடணும், நாங்களே தான் அதை வந்து சரியான முறையில் பாவிக்கணும், வந்து பயன்படுத்தி முன்னுக்கு வரணும். இப்போ வந்து ஒரு ஆள் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணக்கூடிய வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்குது. ஸோ அதை வந்து நீங்கள் சொன்ன மாதிரி எல்லாரும் செய்ய தொடங்கினால் கண்டிப்பாக வந்து ஒரு இங்கேயே ஒரு இண்டஸ்ட்ரியை வந்து நாங்கள் ஐ மீன் so many people are fighting for that and trying and அவைகளோட சேர்ந்து எல்லாரும் இணைஞ்சு முன் வந்தால் நாங்கள் வந்து கண்டிப்பாக பெரிய பெரிய விஷயங்களை சாதிக்கலாம். இப்போ சென்னையில் வந்து இந்த அளவில் ஒரு இண்டஸ்ட்ரி இருக்கும், அதை வந்து நாங்கள் இங்கேயே உருவாக்கலாம். அதுக்கான வாய்ப்புகள் வசதிகள் எங்கள்கிட்ட இருக்குது, ஆனால் அது சரியான முறையில் வந்து நாங்கள் பயன்படுத்தணும் இல்லை. But I'm happy to hear that amongst photographers you guys are united and you're supporting each other and that's great to see.
At least from what I see, just because I'm not part of any big group of people saying, oh, this is this type of photographers, I'm kind of staying away, and like what I'm doing so far no one else has done. So because of that, I think people just see the way I do things in a completely different point of view, so they're able to kind of be like, hey, let's support her for what she's doing because it's great. Yeah,
I mean நாங்க இதுக்குள்ள ஒரு நாலு சோத்துக்குள்ள நாங்க அடிபட்டா அது ஓகே, வெளியில வந்தா தான். So if the general public doesn't know what's happening inside the house, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Right? So வெளியில வந்து everything is nice, everything is peaceful and அந்த picture அவங்களுக்கு கிடைச்சா அதான் முக்கியம். உள்ளுக்கு நாங்க அடிபட்டு என்னன்னு செய்யலாம், it's fine, but வெளியில போனா we should be united and good. All right, this is like a crazy topic we are talking about, but I have to obviously talk about your event more. But let's go back, let's get back to that after a short break. சரி நேயர்களே, ஒரு சின்ன இடைவெளியின் பின் மீண்டும் சந்திக்கலாம். Welcome back, guys. We are talking with the awesome Jananie Baskaran about her event and about her thoughts, what's happening in our community. Hopefully all right, I mean it's time to talk about your event again. I mean, thanks for sharing all these things with me and I mean with our viewers, of course.
Well, I hope it can help.
It should இதை பற்றி நாங்கள் தொடர்ந்து கதைக்கு தான் வேணும். இது வந்து ஒருக்கா காய்ச்சி ஒன்று மாற போகுது. But let's get back to your event that needs a lot of supporters as well, and we want obviously May 7th to be packed at Scarborough Convention Center. So Palm Roots 2017 is going to be happening. So அதை பற்றின நிறைய details நீங்கள் ஏற்கனவே சொல்லியிருந்தாலும் there's a lot of people that probably just tuned in now. So அந்த நிகழ்ச்சியினுடைய details பற்றி திருப்பி ஒருக்கா சொல்லுங்க.
Sure. So it's happening on May 7th, Scarborough Convention Center, and it's all the proceeds from the event will be going to Miracle Family Care, which is a charity organization that's based in Toronto, but all the work they're doing is based on North and East Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And the funds from this year's event is going to go for children with disabilities, and if they're not able to afford education, or if they have parents with disabilities that are stopping them from going to school and being able to pursue education. So that's where all the funding will be going.
All right. So you can probably also mention the ticket prices for this.
Yeah. So the ticket prices, the regular tickets are $10, and there's also VIP tickets, which are $50. But the best part about the VIP tickets is it can be used as a discount voucher at the event. So if you bid for a picture and the price is the final bid, you get $50 off of that, which a lot of people actually enjoyed having in 2015, because when they were bidding for pictures, when they get $50 off, it makes a huge difference.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Sari, what time is this event starting?
It starts at 6:30, and I'm going to try not to do it at Tamil time and actually start at 6:30.
Actual 6:30?
Yeah, because it is a Sunday night, so I'm not going to take too much of people's time, because I know the next day is a work day, but I want to make sure for the time that they're there, it's completely worth it. So 6:30.
சரி, இப்போ நிறைய பேருக்கு இந்த நிறைய events-ல அதான் நடக்குது இப்போ. So 6:30 ன்னா இந்த event-ல dinner கிடைக்குமா?
There's going to be a lot of very good appetizers, and there's going to also be a cash bar.
So okay.
So yes, incentives.
Okay, so நீங்க appetizers நிறைய இருக்கு. அப்ப நீங்க ஒரு 2-3 extra appetizers சாப்பிட்டீங்கன்னா it's like a dinner. So it should cover it up, right? So, all right, awesome. And you have beautiful performances happening. Let's mention that again. Gobi Raj, Veena Thambap's Veena sisters technically. And also
Branavi on flute.
Yeah.
So they're going to be playing an hour completely of live instrumental music. And again, like I said, focused on AR-Rahman songs.
All right. Good to hear that. And I guess this is the perfect time to talk about your sponsors. End of the day, அவையில் இல்லாம இந்த event நடத்தவே முடியாது. So அவையில பத்தி சொல்லுங்க.
Yeah, so the sponsors that I have this year are again Ideal Group, who's going to be supporting most of it, and then I also have Public Choice Investments, who last year, so in 2015 when I did the event, they were actually there very supportive of the pictures, and they wanted to book half the pictures there because of how supportive they were and how much they loved it. So this year they said, you know what, I'm going to come up to the event because I want another picture from my office, but at the same time we are going to help you promote the event and help you fund the event as well. So I have the great support of sponsors, and there's also a few more that are coming soon.
All right. So how about the tickets? Let's talk about that. Where can people purchase the tickets? Can they contact you directly or?
There's actually a link. I have a Facebook event page for Palm Roots, and there's a link through that for Eventbrite, so they can purchase it through there. And I'm actually having maybe I might be having tickets at the door, but I'm trying not to do it and keep it online, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay. So no tickets at the door as of now. So make sure you visit her Facebook event page and get the tickets as soon as possible, because avaladhukku karanal illa ini. All right, Sari, one final question for you. How did you come up with the name Palm Roots? Adukku enna kaaranam?
So Palm Roots, like there's two different ways. So first thing that kind of came to my mind is it was actually with the help of another friend. I thought of so I was born in the Middle East, but obviously my complete identity is Sri Lanka, and I was trying to find two things something that relates to both places, and the one thing that came to mind is palm trees. So as soon as people think of either the Middle East or Sri Lanka, the first thing you think of is the trees and nature. So I brought that in, and then I have the name Roots because it's my roots. But at the same time, when people from the Tamil community hear the word Palm Roots, the first thing they think of is Jaffna, and they think of all the good memories they had of being in like the Panamera Thotam and all of those things. So I guess I wanted to tie that in and kind of emotionally attract them as well. So yeah, that's how we came up.
I just took in that you were born in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Wow, that's okay. Is that the reason why you chose that as one of the countries as well?
It was. Right? I actually it was a funny story because I went back there. I had to go for something else, but then I ended up taking pictures, and not a lot of people here were able to relate to seeing pictures of Middle East and like Burj Khalifa, and like as much as they know that it's for luxury, it's known for its luxury, they were like, okay, this is nice, but we want to see Jaffna. So which is why this year I kind of satisfied their request by going back to Jaffna and taking pictures.
Okay. So idukku mudal neenga travel pannidhu vandu, was it just for this event or illadiki or vacation la poi appadi?
Yes. No, I was actually family trips that I went on, and just coincidentally I just made use of the opportunity, and I took pictures for it. But when I went to Jaffna in 2016, I went completely to take pictures for the trip because I don't really have much family in Jaffna. So I made sure that trip happened just so I could take pictures for the event.
All right. Thank you so much for all this information you shared with us.
I'm happy to be here.
I definitely wish you all the best with Palm Roots 2017. And this year I'm not going to miss it.
Yay.
I will definitely be there this time. And yeah, I'm unfortunately a traveling musician, so I never know when I will be out. But this year I'll definitely be there. I already put it in my calendar. So I hope you guys put it in your calendars as well and attend Palm Roots 2017 on May 7th. The event is going to be starting at 6:30
p.m.
like the actual 6:30. So நீங்க வேற நாட்டுண்ட அந்த வேற டைம் ஜோன் டைமுக்கு போகாம கணக்கா 6:30 க்கு அதுக்கு முதலே வந்துருங்க. இந்த 6:30 க்கு event start பண்ண போகுது, and it's going to be definitely again an awesome event. And இந்த event இந்த முழு காரணமே வந்து ஒரு ஃபண்ட் ரேசர் தான். இது வந்து எங்களுடைய மக்களுக்கு உதவி செய்யறதுக்காக தான் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை வந்து நடத்தி வருகின்றார் ஜனனி அவர்கள். ஸோ இதை வந்து நாங்கள் தான் ஆதரிக்க வேணும். ஏற்கனவே நிறைய கம்ப்ளைண்ட் பண்ணிட்டா எங்களுடைய மக்கள் வந்து நிறைய ஆதரவு கொடுக்குறீங்களேன்னு, நாட் கம்ப்ளைனிங் இல்லை, பட் திஸ் இஸ் சம்திங் வி ஆல் ஹேவ் டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட். எங்களுடைய கலைஞர்களை நாங்கள் தான் வளர்க்கணும். இது வந்து நாங்கள் ஆக்களை கண்ணோட குட் மார்னிங்னு சொல்கிற மாதிரி இல்லாட்டிக்கு குட் ஆஃப்டர்நூன் சொல்கிற மாதிரி தான் நான் ஒவ்வொரு கிழமையுமே இல்லாட்டி ஒவ்வொரு இன்டர்வியூமே இதை தான் உங்களுக்கு சொல்லி கொண்டு வரேன். பட் இது வந்து உங்களுக்கு இருக்கிற ஒரு பாரிய கடமை. எங்களுடைய கலைஞர்களை நீங்கள் வளர்த்தே ஆக வேணும் என்றதான் நாங்கள் அடுத்தடுத்த ஸ்டெப்புக்கு போகலாம். ஸோ all the best to you once again, Jananie, so and I'll see you on May 7th.
Yes, hope to see you there.
சரி நேயர்களே, இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை நீங்கள் கண்டிப்பாக ரசிச்சிருப்பீங்க. ஸோ ஏற்கனவே சொன்னவாறு மே 7 ஸ்கார்பரோ கன்வென்ஷன் சென்டரில் 6:30 மணிக்கு பாம் ரூட்ஸ் 2017 நடக்க இருக்குது. ஸோ கண்டிப்பாக உங்களுடைய ஆதரவை வழங்குங்கள். மீண்டும் இன்னும் ஒரு சிறப்பு நேர்காணலில் உங்களை நான் சந்திக்கும் வரை உங்களிடமிருந்து விடைபெற்றுக் கொள்வது உங்கள் ஸ்டீவ் கிளிஃப். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.